So the darndest thing happened to me last night. There I was, sound asleep. I'm a heavy sleeper. And usually every once in a while the dog will just bark for some crazy reason. We have a very active dog when it comes to alarm. He's an Australian Shepherd, and he absolutely goes bonkers whenever he hears something unusual or thinks he hears something unusual or whatever. I mean, and his big thing is when somebody bangs on the door, he will just flip the hell out. So last night he's barking as usual, and it kind of wakes me up, kind of doesn't. And then I hear another very distinct pound on the door. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's late. And it was a very, very heavy type pound. Now, all of our friends and everything pretty much have our telephones. I mean, we're in the communication age. So, like, if one of our friends really needed something or had some trouble, they'd either text us or call us. And historically, no good can come from a nighttime caller. You talk about a sneak thief does not wish entry when people are home. So I mean, you know, my doors are securely bolted. I have oh gosh, like 3 layers of entry. Well, two on the garage side with deadbolts on both the exterior door and interior door. And then I have a deadbolt on the exterior door in the front. And then in the rear, I have one of them crappy-ass sliding glass doors. But I have wood set up to block it like a dowel. So we hear the beating on the door. And my wife's like, turn the light on. And I'm like, I shook my head no. I didn't want to make any sound, any acknowledgement, or anything that the person on the outside would hear other than the dog barking. And I let the dog bark. And I kept the dog in the house with us. I didn't put him in a different room or anything else. So it got really, really quiet. And, you know, while our eyes adjusted a little bit more to waking back up, I still didn't know what the hell day of the week it was. I mean, this was last night. I thought it was like Saturday or something. I was totally discombobulated. Because it was so out of the blue, and my wife was scared, and I'm going to be honest, it made me nervous. You know, my heart was pounding just a little bit because you don't know what's going on. And it's a very different story. I'll tell you what, it's a very different story when it's just you and you're wherever, out in the woods by yourself or whatever, versus being in the house with your family, your wife, your kids. It's a totally different story. You know, people talk tongue-in-cheek about doing violence to intruders. When you're actually faced with it, I had time to think about it. Like, okay, I had way too much time on my hands. I'm like, okay, I grab a gun. If I shoot the person, this, that. You know, should I go around the back? You know, and just sort of shine them? Should I maybe put some pants on? So we just sat there, nice and quiet. When I went to see if I could see them, the way our house is designed, I can't really see a person when they're right at the door, which isn't a good design, and I'm needed to consider doing something about that. But you know, I'm trying to peer out through the window in such a fashion that I could see them without, you know, acknowledging any type of presence. You know, that was my biggest concern with lighting up the exterior of the house. I mean, everything's pitch black. I made sure that the inside was totally blacked out. You know, the inside of the house, because one of the bigger mistakes that I'm told people make in those scenarios is they'll turn on all the interior lights. Well, that gives the advantage to the person on the outside. You know, you want to try to make sure the exterior is more lit than the interior. And in our case, we had some pretty good moonlight going on last night. So eventually, you know, we just sit there and we wait and we wait and we wait, and we look outside. I'm always like, hey, there's a car out there, and there was at least one person by the car, and the door was open, and you could see the interior lights of the car. The person out by the car didn't light up a cigarette or anything like that. But eventually I heard him start up and drive off. But man, I don't know. It's a really boring type event, but if you think about it, being at the middle of the night, the only two options for in the middle of the night, a nighttime caller like that, is either they need help or they mean harm. And help-wise, honestly, what could I do? And harm-wise, I'm not going to tolerate that. All these sexy little scenarios that people fantasize over, like when the person comes into my house, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. BS. Don't let them in the damn house to begin with. When the person is banging on the door and you don't know who it is and you're not expecting anyone, do not release that bolt. Do not allow them the initiative, because that could be the one line of defense for oh so much. Let's say for some odd reason I did unbolt the door, the person did come in, and I did have to take violent action against them. The consequences of that are so great. I don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want anybody to hurt me or my family. I know several people who have taken life, and the consequences of that are far greater than what anyone ever expects. So anyway, there's my possible home invasion story, man. I hope this is all there is to it. And thanks for listening. See y'all later.